Reduce, reuse, recycle. Today I'd like to show you what we can do with old microscope stands that may be missing key components such as body tubes, optics, and turn these old compound upright microscopes into usable instruments with a totally different use and application assignment. This is an old Olympus BX50 microscope stand that we have here, and with one simple cut of a hacksaw we removed the arm, the horizontal arm that normally would carry the body tube. Since the body tube was missing, you can buy these stands by themselves for under $100 on eBay. They're very inexpensive, and then it's just a matter of attaching a mechanical stage, and this upper portion, this is a gear rack from China with a coarse focusing drive and a standard 1/4 20 tripod bushing with a lock bolt on it that allows us to set this instrument up for a variety of different uses. One use I like to have is a digital SLR, or in this case an old Leica film camera, with a 1:1 macro lens that allows me to get 24 by 36 millimeter compositions, which is great for some of the things I like to photograph, like insects, rocks, postage stamps. So here you'll see that I've got a little critter mounted to a BioQuip ball and socket that allows us to easily tilt this guy at different angles. And now we have a precision movement using the former compound microscope XY table we're now using to move precisely our sample. So then we bring in a light source. Could be a macro flash, could be fiber optic, could be LED. Use your imagination. And now we can illuminate a large object on a compound microscope using a totally different optical system. So the upper portion, coarse focus, is used to get us in the ballpark, do our focusing with the lens system, and then we have down below the fine focus mechanism, which will move in 1 micron increments and allow us to do Z-stacking at 1:1. I mean, there's many lenses out there that will get you to 1:1, or even the close-up range, 1:3, 1:2. But this is a starting point for what is defined as photomacrography. Photomacrography is usually that range of magnification at the sensor or film plane from 1:1, 1x, to 50:1, 50x. That's defined as photomacrography. Anything beyond 50x at the sensor is defined as photomicrography. So let's show you another system that you can quickly convert the system from a close-up or a 1:1 system. Put that aside for a moment. And now we're going to add to the system a relatively new setup from Infinity Photo Optical, and this I'm going to put on to the same 1/4 20 bracket. This is called the Infinity KC, and the Infinity KC has some interesting accessories. Number one, it has a diverter box that allows us to split the light from an eyepiece up to a camera. You'll see in the back here a camera system, which is a small format camera that I'm going to use for illustration purposes. The KC is a telecentric optical system, so it's perfect for Z-stacking using microscope objectives. Here now we've got the configuration optic on the KC to be used with, for example, Zeiss infinity corrected microscope objectives. This particular objective that I'm using is a 2.5x objective, and with that we can illuminate this guy on here and bring it down into the ballpark let's look at one of these jointed arms here. This is a little hook that I hope you can see. Try to twist this towards you, towards my camera. It's a twin-pronged hook, and we can come in and tweak up the lighting. The KC also has an aperture diaphragm that we can stop down slightly to get to the oomph position. That's the position where we're best suited for optimum resolution. And there you'll see our guy in the center of the field. Let's see if we can stabilize him a bit. Just laying on there loose, so it's prone to air movement. But for illustration purposes, this internal focusing on the KC allows us to get to the manufacturer's working distance or close to it, and we can then focus and do our Z-stacking by starting at the top and then focusing on down. So you see the hook at the end of this joint has gone out of focus, and we're now in focus down here on the lower portion of the unit, and we can define then our top and bottom and do 1 micron increments quite nicely. So these objectives are fully interchangeable. They come with RMS adapters. You can use Nikon, Olympus, Zeiss, or Leica objectives, and it's actually a very stable system, but this guy, like I said, is sitting on here. Let's go to a different area. It's a little more stable. So we're seeing these hairs along the edge here quite nicely using this 2.5x objective. Many people will put on a 5x, depends what you're looking for. And again, with this diverter box, we can cut off the camera view and do all of our composition and framing using an eyepiece that you see here. So another option, of course, for the Infinity KC is to remove the small format camera and replace it with a 3x optical coupler, and then we can put on a T-mount for whatever camera we're using. And this is now the real benefit of using the Infinity KC for photomacrography, and in this case photomicrography. We then put on a large format digital or a 35mm full frame camera, and now we are using the system as it was intended for large format cameras. So again, this is a whole new way of using old microscope stands that are uneconomical or missing key components. They're easily and very inexpensively sourced on eBay from microscope people who may have these sitting on the shelves and happy to get rid of them. All it takes is a little creativity, a little reuse and reimagination, and you can put the RRR to use for your benefit. Thank you, and I appreciate your attention.